If President Biden truly wants to build back better, we can't think of a better way to start than fully funding a civilian climate corps.
The United States is staring down converging crises.
Years of political inaction have left us unprepared to face the effects of the climate crisis. The seas are rising, putting coastline communities like mine in Miami in danger. Extreme weather is wreaking havoc on our farmlands, and what were once-in-a-generation wildfires are becoming more and more regular.
Beyond the death toll of the COVID-19 pandemic, the last year has forced millions of Americans to face their own economic crises, rocked by job losses, not knowing if they can make ends meet, or secure a roof over their heads.
And if you're a young person, you might be graduating in debt, putting aside your dreams of a meaningful career and opting out for any job that just helps you survive.
This is a moment that demands bold action to both stop the climate crisis and create millions of good jobs in the process.
And there's one solution that takes a big, bold first step to do both: the Civilian Climate Corps.
The CCC was inspired by FDR's Civilian Conservation Corps, a centerpiece of his New Deal that he said would conserve our previous natural resources and create future national wealth.
The National Public Work Relief Program employed over 3 million workers to build, repair, and conserve the United States forests, parks, and natural resources in the wake of the Great Depression.
At Sunrise Movement, we're proud of having championed the fight to make President Biden's climate promises as ambitious as possible to meet the needs of our generation and our communities.
We'll launch a new modern civilian climate corps to heal our public lands.
He felt our heat so much that he actually signed an executive order to make the CCC a thing. But the CCC he proposed, along with his watered-down infrastructure plan, is a broken promise.
It not only fails to recognize the scale of the crisis we face, but also how many people we could actually help right now.
At Sunrise, we're demanding that President Biden actually sticks to his promise to build back better, starting with the passage of an infrastructure package that meets both the scale and urgency of this moment. That's why we at Sunrise, along with other amazing movements, have teamed up with Senator Ed Markey and Congresswoman AOC to introduce the real Civilian Climate Corps into Congress, fully funded and ready to make the change the environment and America needs right now.
For all the good FDR's CCC did, it had a lot of flaws, namely the exclusion of women and people of color. And we can't make those same mistakes. This legislation would ensure that our Civilian Climate Corps will be deeply rooted in equity, giving good jobs to communities that have disproportionately been harmed by the climate crisis, systemic racism, and our broken economy.
This CCC would put over 1.5 million Americans to work in good-paying union jobs that will literally save our planet through building up sustainable infrastructure and make our communities healthier and safer by providing for ourselves the services we need.
When FDR launched his CCC, he declared that a government worthy of its name must make a fitting response. Coming out of a global pandemic in the midst of a climate crisis, this moment once again demands a fitting response. Legislation that is big and bold to the scale that both science and justice demand.
Right now, the government has an opportunity and an ability to meet our needs. Imagine being hired, guaranteed health care, and being paid a living wage by the government to do work that actually means something for the people and places that you love.
Work like taking care of the elderly, or rebuilding after climate disasters, or growing and distributing fresh produce in places that don't have it, or leading a project with other young people to protect your community from rising seas.
The CCC is a real, tangible solution, and it's a popular one too. 83% of Democratic voters support the Civilian Climate Corps, and it even has net support among Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. When young people hear about a CCC, they're excited about it. Half of voters under 45 and 59% of voters between 18 to 29 say they would consider working if the Civilian Climate Corps offered them a job.
When FDR called on Congress to enact and fund a Civilian Climate Corps, he told Congress it would pay dividends to the present and future generations.
He was right then. We're still reaping the benefits of the original CCC. And now, it's time for us to take the next step.
But first, we need Congress to act. to fully fund the CCC and enable us all to take part in preserving our environment and our country for generations to come.